What's up, guys? What's up, guys? What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, guys, this video is pretty much a comparison to the iPhone X and the GoPro Hero 5. You can get a Hero 6 and they're probably about the same, so this will relate to you guys as well. What is better to vlog with? What is better to do your footage with? Well, obviously there's pros and cons to both, and it's all up to you, okay? Now, the reason I'm going to tell you right now, I think the iPhone X is a little better to vlog with and do your footage with if you're starting off versus the GoPro. That's the obvious. People are going to tell me, duh, that's an obvious answer. But I'm going to break it down for why, all right? Because you're probably thinking, well, obviously you have your phone, it's better. Well, no, it's not. So let's go over the pros first, right? The pros of the GoPro. The GoPro is very durable and you can do a lot more things with it. So it doesn't have to be only your vlogging camera. You can drop something and not have a problem. Another thing, it's not a phone. So therefore, if you have this GoPro, if you are just recording and nobody's gonna call you, so you won't ruin your footage, versus on the iPhone, if you're talking on that, if you're doing your vlogging and somebody calls you, your mom calls you or your wife calls you, it's gonna drop and ruin your footage, and then you gotta take a little bit of, lose some footage there. The GoPro is always recording at all times. Like I said, the GoPro is very durable. I dropped mine from a moving car and it worked fine. I'm actually recording with that phone now. With that GoPro now. Another thing, depending on which camera you use, the GoPro is always at 4K, or depending on the your settings you set it at, but if it's most of the time it's at 4K. The iPhone, if you're using the front camera, it's a lower quality. I do not know the actual resolution, but I know it's not no 4K. The back of it, you can see 4K, but if you're gonna use 4K footage, you wanna do 4K footage, you're gonna have to flip your phone and have it kind of a weird look, or you're gonna have to, put it the other way, and then you're not vlogging anymore, you're just walking around with the camera, pointing things at yourself. Pointing your camera at something else. So that's another pro for the GoPro. Also, the GoPro tells you that you're recording. There's a little red light that's blinking, and it tells you, hey, it's recording. Versus the GoPro, if you're using the back of the camera, which I'm pretty sure you're going to want to use for 4K footage, you do not if you're using the background for 4K to look at yourself and you want some high quality, you really can't see yourself. You can't tell if it's recording or not. Versus if you have it flipped the other way, and you're just looking, then you can tell if it's recorded because the little red square is there. A bad thing about iPhones is the iPhone can create bad habits, and I do it all the time. It's something I have to get used to. We tend to look at the screen too much, like I'm doing right now. The screen isn't what's recording you, it's this lens right there. So versus on the GoPro, there is no screen confusing you. It's right there, it's a little square, and you're good to go. All right, so let's start getting into the negatives. All right, the negatives of the GoPro. The GoPro does not have the best sound. At least when I had it in the beginning, it just had this echoey noise. I'm not sure if they fixed that in the update. I thought it was a hardware issue, because the fact that the casing it came in, from what I'm reading, but it's kind of went away, and you guys can tell me in the footage that we're listening to now, it kind of was different. Another bad thing about the GoPro is the GoPro's battery life. It's very small, and maybe it could be up to 2 hours of recording or whatever. Your iPhone can hold up for like hours and hours and hours of recording, and you can do these type of things and you'll be good to go. What else is downfall about the GoPro? Well, the GoPro is it's funny I say this, is very expensive. It's not that expensive. It's only $300 bucks. The iPhone obviously is $1,000 phone, but everybody buys an iPhone. You're gonna buy a phone. You're gonna buy a phone. So why not? If you're gonna get an iPhone 8 X, it's no different. If you get an 8 or X, they both do the same thing. Maybe one has better quality, but like I'm saying, the iPhone, you're gonna own it, so it's not that big of a deal. Versus the GoPro, you do have to buy some other things in order to get your footage across. Another thing is inconvenience, all right? And this loops into this last point that I made. The inconvenience of the GoPro is so annoying, okay? You're gonna have about when I'm done with this footage is what I'm going to have to do. I have a couple options. I can take the phone, the camera, take out the chip, load that into a computer, and that's one way. I can plug in a cord to the camera, and that's another way. It doesn't sound too bad, right? Well, guys, it does get kind of slow, and that's a problem as far as the transfer rate goes. And then on top of that, the real problem is how am I going to edit my footage? I want to splice up this footage, and I can't do so on the GoPro. I have to use a computer program. So that means I'm going to have to buy a seat of Adobe Premiere, whatever program-free software you got, you can go out and do those different things. But if you want to use a good one, I use Adobe Premiere. If you don't have Adobe Premiere, like you have an iMac or some type of Apple, you have to use iMovie, which could be great because I've heard they're really good. I don't have one. And I guess you're a victim of your computer. But now you're getting to a point where I gotta buy another computer that works really well or use my computer. So that could be very limiting. The iPhone, it's beautiful because it's all in your phone. You know, that's why I say it's convenient. You're not having to bring in all these extra things. You can go ahead and load it in there and splice it up in iMovie and export it, and you have yourself a complete movie. And you can add your sound. It's not the most like, oh my gosh, I can put this in theaters, but you know, you get the point. It's a lot more convenient with the iPhone. It's all there. I've done the movies and I've loaded them up, and now they have all these apps where you can edit thumbnails, and I loaded it to the to YouTube very quickly. Versus on the GoPro, I had to wait till I got home, or I had to use the Wi-Fi to upload it, which took a while, and it was kind of annoying. So that's something there. But to the GoPro's defense, the Wi-Fi is not that bad. It loads right into the iPhone, and you can go ahead and splice all your footage up once it gets loaded into the iPhone. I'm not sure if it does it anymore, but in the beginning when I was using it, for some reason, GoPro, whenever you loaded footage in there, it goes into slow-mo. And your footage, when you get the GoPro footage, it's all in slow-mo. It is so annoying, and I can't stand it. So that's another downfall for the GoPro. Versus the iMovie, it's all there. But your footage comes in 4K and it's very nice. The problem with the GoPro is you can't the iPhone, you can't load in 4K into YouTube. Even though your footage comes out 4K, you're gonna have to transfer that to something else and then load it in. I haven't had any luck, and I could be wrong. Shame on me for not doing the research, but eventually I will. But there's some loops you gotta jump through in order to get 4K video from your iPhone to YouTube. I saw a gentleman doing it on YouTube and the way he was doing it, but I forgot why I couldn't do it. You can export it in 4K, but whenever it gets loaded in, it doesn't load in at 4K. It loads in like at 720 or 1080. So I'm like, man, I'm so excited to have some good footage, and boom, it's crappy. Right now, probably a negative for the GoPro is the lighting. Right now, I don't know exactly how the GoPro is looking, but I'm pretty sure it's not that good compared to the iPhone that you're probably I'm switching over to right now. Obviously the GoPro, the light from the camera from the iPhone is very lit versus the GoPro, and not so much. So that's another thing. So realistically, like I said, guys, I went kind of off into the bushes there. I believe your iPhone is better just because of the fact that convenience is a huge thing for me. I don't have time to sit at a computer and edit footage all the time, as though I would love to, because I really want to get an iMac and modify my footage a lot more efficiently, but can't afford it. That's another downfall to iMac. But the GoPro is very well of an option as well if you want to use that and you want to go ahead and do that. But keep in mind, you're going to have to get extra batteries. You're going to have a charger. You're going to have to be careful with your sound. They do come with mics. You can buy mics if you want to. So don't think anything bad about those things. But guys, that's my opinion on these two cameras. There is some other things, but that's pretty much the gist of it. If you're there, price point, one's $1,000, one's $300, but you're going to use that iPhone. It's obvious you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck out of an iPhone, ironically, than you are a GoPro, because the GoPro is just footage. Versus the iPhone, you're using your cell phones, your contacts, your Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media account you're using, business. Obviously, that's pretty much a computer in your hand, you know, and this one's just a camera. But they're both great, and I would totally recommend the iPhone. But guys, that's it. I thank you so much for watching. Please be blessed. If you like this, go ahead and like, subscribe, but let me know what I missed. Sorry if I was just, it seemed like I was rushing. I was just trying to get you as much information as quickly as possible where I don't go on and ramble. So I will continue to improve. If you got any ideas for what I should do, let me know what you do with your camera, and I will love to hear that. But I'll see you guys when I see you. Peace.